So, first order of business with crowd or mob violence. It's about saving lives. It's about saving your life and the lives of anyone that you may be worried about in this situation. Um, Look, unless you got a couple fire teams, belt-fed machine guns and, superior position, I'm sorry, you're not defeating the mob. Um, and that shouldn't be our focus. So I said I would explain what happened, when I had to deal with some mob violence. So first story, and the most important story, the second story is kind of more like a supplemental thing. So I was working the door one night. Now this was during the height, I would say maybe, of the whole COVID thing, where you had groups of people running around beating the shit out of people and stuff like that. So I was standing at the door. Okay. Now, at the door, I don't generally like to have my firearm. People are very close to you and, all that types of stuff. You know, um, Anyways, I noticed that there was a car that had pulled up with two guys in it, and they were just watching me and watching the front. Didn't like that. There was something really off about it. I can't put it into words, but something was very wrong. So when they drove away, I went to my car. I always have my holster, and I put my sidearm in my holster. Now, there's very strict rules to get into the club during, this type of stuff. You have to have masks. There's only a certain amount of people allowed in. Capacity, like social distancing. It's a lot going on. So all of a sudden, multiple cars come in all together, super fast. Making tons of noise. You got action. This is bad. If you see a bunch of cars together coming into your place of business, yeah. So it's on. So they pull up. Now what's going on is those first two guys, that first car, they were scoping us out, seeing if I was armed or not, stuff like that. They wanted to see the security because they were thinking they could just steamroll through us and tell us what's what. Man, I'm telling you, close to about 20 guys got out of all these cars, okay? Young guys, white tees and, torn clothing, like no masks. Not one of them had a mask. They're not getting in. They know that. Or at least they know that within rules they're not going to get in. But to them, they're like, we're just going to force our way until they saw my gun. And I will never forget this. Dude turned to his buddy, and the buddy's like, no, no, no. Yeah, literally, like, what? You're sad? You're sad now that I have a gun, you piece of shit? And so managers come out, we're all talking, we're trying to explain to them that it's not going to happen tonight. Now, a crowd like this is looking for someone to hurt. They're just looking to let this shit out. So they know that it's not going to go this way to where they could come in. So they start shit with these guys who had come out. One guy comes out, says literally, I don't know what he said, something intelligible, and he gets hit in the face. So he runs in, gets his boy. They come out. I don't think he told his boy how many guys were out here. There's no way that guy came out as gung-ho as he did to fight like 15, 20 dudes by himself. There's no way. So comes out, pandemonium, and we're all going in different directions because this mob is it has split itself so it can beat up this one guy and then come over to this guy. So I'm like dodging punches, not because these punches aren't actually meant for me. They're meant for, this guy and then this guy. So I'm like just dodging, trying to move people, say, hey, it's not worth it, these types of things. And he says, my boy, they got him, they separated. This crowd had separated his boy and pulled him back. And I'm running over there, and I see him catch the punch from the side. This one, he goes down, and now they're stomping his shit in his face, and blood everywhere. And I come over, and I start throwing guys off of him, and they turn to me, and that's when, I reach for my firearm, and of course, them, not wanting real resistance, take off to the other side of the brawl and try to stomp that other dude. So we come over there, and kind of, are able to pull them apart. And that's when there was a third guy, part of this party. He came over and he kicked one of their, cars. And so one guy tries to reach for, a gun from the car, and that's when, I'm like, hey man, we're not doing this, it's just all hands. So as that's going on, car comes by to try to run us over. So we jump out of the way. I'm trying to keep people, safe and stuff like that. And that's when, once again, I reach my firearm. Another guy from inside comes out, United States Marine, God fucking bless the Marine Corps. And yeah, so now, you know what I'm saying? Now we got it. And so they have to leave. They just take off. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, I wasn't trying to fight them, and as much as they deserved every kind of beating that I could give them or whatever, it's too many. I'm lucky they didn't take my gun. Let's be real. Like, I have a lot of lessons I had to learn from that. And I'm still kind of shaky about certain things after that. Defeating the mob just isn't in the cards, unless I said, there's some reason that you're going at a mob with, 8 guys or, maybe even a full, squad or whatever, and you guys have the right firepower and whatever. There must be a reason for that. I'm not sure why that's happening. But you get what I'm trying to explain about crowd violence. Please just protect yourself and those you love. If you're taking hits, those hits should be towards you getting away. Don't take more hits so you can deliver hits, because that's a war of attrition. You're not going to win. And then the supplemental story I wanted to explain was when I was much younger, I went to not a great neighborhood to, do what kids do, grab some things that maybe I shouldn't have. And I'll never forget, I heard all of these voices. It was a gang of guys looking for a guy. They weren't looking for me, but I heard all the voices, and my instinct was just get away. So I pulled back, because I was waiting for a guy to meet a guy, So I pulled back into this tree line. Luckily, this is one of those neighborhoods that has woods and stuff. And I lay down, and I pull out my knife. I was young at this time, didn't have a firearm. And I'm watching these people. It's so many guys, and they're so angry and so fired up. I feel sorry for whoever it was they were fucking looking for. Jesus Christ. And I didn't want to get caught up in their sweep, because a mob doesn't know what it's going to do to you. I'm sorry. They have no fucking idea what they're going to do to you. And by the time it all goes down, I promise you, they're going to go further than probably most of them expected or wanted to. Crowds are not fucking worth it. Please get those who you love to safety. Anything that you do, sending rounds down range, running people over, I don't care. Whatever it is that you do, it has to be towards retreat. It has to be helping you escape. I'm sorry, I'm not Superman. There's literally nothing else that I can say about this. So I wish you all the best, and yeah, maybe sometime we're gonna figure it out. But right now, there isn't much for a self-defender to do against an army, especially an army that can't even control itself. You don't have a representative to speak to. There's no king, right? But yeah, those are my thoughts on it.